guys, welcome back to my channel Read with Kim, and I am really excited to talk about this book because I finally finished it, and I'm talking about the IT from Stephen King. Ding! I can literally check in of this book. Like, I read it, I wanted to do it for so long, and this is my part 2 of this review. So let's get into this week's video. Just gonna wrap up super quick what I said in the video part 1, and if you want to know more, please watch that video. But basically, I said that it was like 5 kids that they live in Derry, and this book opens with Bill, who is one of them, that creates a boat for his little brother George, and then a paper boat, and then George goes outside playing with the boat, and then he encounters this monster that is like dressed as a clown with balloons and kind of eat George and destroys him completely, and a bunch of weird things are happening on Derry. So that's what I left, and I was mentioning that for me it was difficult to read, like get into the book. It was like chronological level, it was like what is happening here. It was difficult for me to follow what was happening, and also the point of view. And I finally finished it. Like about page 557. It's getting better. It's picking up the pace of the story. Like it's getting like more interesting. And basically those kids are adults now, and then Mike, one of them, called each of them to have them back in Derry because weird things continue happening, and they need to talk because they made this promise when they were kids. And they came back to Derry. It is one afternoon when they see each other in this restaurant, and it was really shocking to see them looking at each other, how they've been growing, how they've been developing. So they were like, okay, what are we gonna do about this thing that is happening in Derry? And one of them, I am not gonna say who because I want you to read it, and if you wanna read it, I don't wanna spoil it. One of them kept suicide. So he kept suicide, and it's really shocking because they were like, okay, why is this thing keep happening? Why we feel this force thing, evil, whatever it is, want us here, right? So they're still like figuring out why, and they came to the conclusion that, okay, well, none of us have children. Like, we were children, and that thing wants to kill us because maybe that thing doesn't want us like keep like having all the generations. It is really scary how each of them like start like seeing weird things and connecting things about the past. It's really scary. And then they decide, okay, Bill, I feel like he's kind of the leader. He's like, we are going to kill this thing. That's it. Like, we have to kill it because we have to finish with Derry, because Derry is the town that is keeping all the secrets and keeping all the evil things. And it's really interesting why this book, it calls this name, it and IT. I want to say it, but I don't know, because I say it, I'm going to spoil it a lot. But I think that's the most like amazing thing that I discovered in this book, because I never thought what was called IT until I was like, oh, it's not the name of the clown. It's because it's like, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, and I'm not. But hopefully you can, if you read the book, you're going to discover why it calls like this, and you're going to say, wow, it makes everything, like, it makes sense. Why is this called like that, and why it's in Derry town, and what is happening there, right? It's really interesting. It's a very long book. It is really detailed. So, as I said, and I continue saying, and when I finish this book, I will say it again, it didn't work out for me that much because it was really slow, and I get really desperate really fast. I need like action, especially in horror genre. I'm like, okay, I need action, and this one was extremely descriptive. However, do I think it's a masterpiece? Yes, I do. Do I think the story is great? Yes, I do. I think the bond of those kids that have each other, and my favorite is Beverly, and the relationship she has with Bill and Ben it takes really emotional. I feel like Stephen King, even though when he writes a horror genre, he's very good about emotional bonds, and you feel like you know the characters. So I think it's great about that. At the very end, we know what happened with each of the characters, because I love when he is like, okay, this is the end of the story, we fight the force, and then what happens after. I think is great. This is one of the most like read books ever. However, if you are a fast-paced reader like me, and then you get distracted really easy, I don't think this book will be easy for you to read. And yeah, so my rating for this book this time is 3.5. Even though it's a great story, even though it was a movie, it was great, but for me it didn't keep me entertained. It took me a while, like really a while, to get into the book, and I was thinking something else when I was reading it, and I feel like some things were like too much detail. And yeah, but I mean, I love Stephen King. He is my favorite horror author, and he is my favorite horror author, and I have so many books from him. So yeah, this is my final review about this. And if you really want to know what is his name, read it. I am not going to tell you, and I don't even think the movie explains what it calls this. And when you find out why you call this, you were like, oh my god, that's why. So yes, so Beverly is my girl, and I guess Bill is my boy. And friendship, horror, and classic, this book I recommend it if you like taking your time and you like details. Yes, but if you don't do it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'm gonna see you next week with a new bookish adventure. And yeah, bye.